Welcome to TV World. What do you mean by TV World? What's this all about, Commander? Well, all our programs and our disposition line centers and TV reception locations come to a new high position line system. Everybody's in my world of TV illusion. Your illusions and your factoring line conditions come into high formation line condition. You should understand that creation to line systems are all done through TV reception connections. Understand your lacing lines, your positions, your chakra communication center line systems. Everybody's in their own TV world now, their program positions. You guys have to learn to pay attention to these things because it's all connected inside you. You have to sound like you're walking into your own TV. Right? So, tell you what we're going to do is we're going to go through our own TV receptions to know exactly what you're looking at inside and out, not outside and in. You come into your own channel interference, all the old program line center positions, all the creations that you've been created is now disappeared in all levels of activation. So everybody's coming into emotional content and information line centers. The communication cycles are set up to a 5-division line system. The crystalline system and its location is high force in everybody's chakra systems. Communication cycles, ground line centers, perception locations. It gets extremely complicated knowing all levels of wires and communication, mainframes and its positions. Your TV receptions are activating right now through some time location. Everybody's got to be healed that position. So it's kind of like understand you're in a TV world. You're in my world. Welcome. So I did very, very powerful TikTok all about everything that's happening with your activation bodies, your heart cycle line system, location positions, the reactor location, how to stand you through position for your own TV reception. Our TV receptions understand our satellites and our Wi-Fi's and providers, modulators, your simulators. Everything's calculated and modified to understand what's happening with the eye circle locations, what's happening with your ears. Remember, you have to get your thought positions in the vibration line system. So you have to truly understand how to use this. And it's all done through vibration energy and frequencies. So the creation line program and positions, a 3-line system, is no longer in position. So it's changing up all channels. So it's like, that's what's happening right now. So think of one line center. Think of a TV reception, a box surface location, right? And let's just see what happens when you come into line system. Which means it's gone out completely. So all your programs in your all high line systems, positions, 3-track line systems, 3-dimensional line condition, your TV reception is now finished. Everybody's in their own new TV location. This is where it comes into my world, the holographic line system. Remember how I went into all level conditions? You have to understand all position is you in chronological order. Your segments and your communication, your sequencing line centers is coming to lacing line positions. Your TV reception starts off with maybe 10 or 12, depending where you are through locations. Dimensional round line centers, sector level connections, vector core position line system. You're nothing but a TV reception of interference. Now, to understand these things, you have to understand the condition flux capacitor line conditions, right? Comes in its coil and its resistance, right? Because there's a lot of emotional communication, right? The telewaving system, the telecommunications, energy lights, activation core centers, your digital frames, your pixels, your activations, and your holographic line connections. Everybody's into their own game position, right? Let the games begin. So that's what's happening right now with everybody, right? So you're getting confusing line centers now because you have to understand you're in a higher location. It's not just the vibration in your frequencies. It's knowing how to use all this in your own calculations. Understand yourself to positions to your own computer line conditions. So everybody's into their own TV reception right now, which is very powerful. Okay. So all that waving cycle line system to its location, everybody's going to see me through traction. So the creation line center is everything the center line system. So it's amazing how you guys come into your own activation centers. People are trying to understand the flux capacitors and these light systems. The Galactic Force team and position line connections has to understand these positions, where you are in your connections or your chakra connections. So the communications and its light signal has all levels of frequencies. Understand how to understand your channels and bring it into one location, one activation, one light. That's where everybody's got to come into one compilation, one center position to one perception. Okay, and stop seeing this, trying to study this, try to study this, try to study this. Okay, so you're all coming into one position location. Remember I was saying how we're going through that conditions yesterday. We're talking about looking at the triangle, looking at the point center, and everybody else also was creating something different, but I wasn't attached to the 369 platform, to the round line system, to its 3 location positions. That's exactly what it is. So your thoughts are changing positions. Your lacing line communications are changing line centers of communication. Your coloration patterns are changing through your interference position line system. Your gravities are in lock connections right now, a 5D, a crystalline activation. I'll say that again. Everybody is in their crystalline activation. That means they're in their platitude line systems at 369. So they're going to keep seeing triangles and triangles and triangles and triangles and triangles until you understand how to use it. You have to learn how to use these things because your old programs are off. You know when you turn off the TV and it goes like this? That's exactly what's happened. So 3D line system doesn't exist anymore. So you're coming into a new cube rotation. You're coming into new matrix interference. Everything is set up for you for all levels of activation coming into your track line systems into 0.111 location, 0.1 activation line center to emotional communication, right? The telepathy line condition interference. So basically, I watched a very powerful video. It's more like it's like a teenage movie, but it was all based on called Time Freaked. And it was about a guy, basically, he loved this girl. He's known her for about 2 years. And he kind of like tries to take the equation because she came to him one day, they're at the restaurant, and she wanted to break up with him. But he says, no, no, no. What did I do wrong? So he tries to go into the plasma interference. He tries to go to his wall intercept line system and creates an anomaly into structural lines, two connections. He goes back in time and tries to refix everything. He tries to get her back. See, the thing is, this is where you have to understand where timelines you can change things, but you have to be cautious on what you do through the change. You have to stay in the same position every single time. So you can't change frames of people. You can't change frames people's of their mind because they're in their own connection position to its line system of their own timelines. You can't change their timelines, especially if you're in that position. So I thought it was pretty interesting where he was going through frame, and every time he met her on different levels of different activities, right, he was trying to kind of like, okay, what did I do wrong? How do I do this right? So he's going back and forth, and he realized he kept going, right, into the future, kept going into the future, and realized why he broke up with her in the first place, right? The fact is, he was affecting her timeline and her emotional content and her connections, right? So, and this is what was happening with her because she couldn't figure this out. She couldn't move forward. She was getting motionless. So this is all understand the content level where it comes into the human behavior line system to your construction. You have to understand your levels when you come into your AI interface. But the whole meaning of the story was basically he should have just left it alone, right? So it's amazing how you do these things when you go back in time, right? You have to leave everything the way it is. So he tried to just basically take the solar text off, say, okay, we got to talk, we got to meet, there's something I need to talk to you about, right? So he was trying to take that back into time and try to erase it. Now he did that through accordance, but then he realized 2 years later, she was a different person, right? And she was upset with that. So what happened was he basically gave everything up. He destroyed the time machine, and then he went back with his friend, right? But then she came in. So she came in from the past to the future. I said, what did you do to me? What happened to me? Why am I motionless? What's going on? What happened to me? And she's like freaking out. I said, what are you trying to do to me? We're married, all this. And the reason why I couldn't move forward is, oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to change you. I said, you can't change people because the universal line system will put you in that conditions and to understand that you come into the emotional communication. And that's what telepathy means. It's the emotional communication to you through telepathy line system. Okay. So I thought that was a pretty powerful movie. So what they did is they started to live without the time machine, right? And they were still married. So he got a second chance, which was pretty interesting. And they followed up in that and they kept going and going and going. But the moral of this story was, it was all based on he was trying to change her. And he realized why he was in that position and was thinking to himself, I shouldn't have did that in the first place. I shouldn't have invented the timeline. So the thing is too, is that you have to keep everything in chronological order. So basically the only way he could understand what was going on is his friend had to hit him from the back of the car. So it was pretty interesting because he was coming across that. He said, "No, I want to hit you. I want to hit you. So why do I want to change the timeline? I don't want to change the timeline." And he didn't want to get hit, right? Because he knew if he got hit, he'd be going over it again and again and again and again, and repeating the cycle. So I'm trying to tell you exactly what goes on when you go into your past, your present, and your future timelines, and how important it is to not change anything because it affects everything through the emotional of humanity and its communication. Right. So that's what telepathy stands for, is emotional communication. So it's really interesting coming to these positions. And that's where everybody's coming into. They're coming into a new cycle, a new connection, holographic connection, new activation, new 5D, a new crystalline. Nobody knows how to use the crystalline connections. It's not meditation anymore. You're in my TV world. You're in your own TV world. So you have to understand the concept and its value. How much do you value your pyramids? How much do you value your content? How much do you value your information? How much do you value your channels? Okay, that's what space and time is. Okay, it's space, time, frequencies, and codes. It's all allocated position of your shape positions and how you put yourself in that conditions. But I thought it was a very powerful video, and it was on Prime. So it's pretty interesting. Just want to give that to you guys. How you kind of like understand why things are set in motion. And when you try to change things, this is what happens. People get motionless, timeless, and they freak out and they realize, why did you destroy my timeline? You know, I wanted to move on. And then he realized, very powerful, I want to get you guys to connect to you because this is how it's affecting everybody. And this is all about understanding how it came to the positions, right? Time freak alone is just pretty amazing stuff, right? And it's all connected to space and time, right? Because it's all about emotion. All right, it's all about attraction. It's all about coloration and lights and what you see through perception. All right, it has its convergence and has its activation, has its program. So, and that's where everybody's coming into, is a lot of confusion now because they're in a TV world of themselves, right? So it's really interesting to come across these things. But you can watch it. It's you know, it's more of a teenage film. But the thing is that just get a basic understanding how she felt like nobody. She was cold, motionless, right? And she had so many goals. She was playing the guitar one night, and basically she was doing extremely well in front of a lot of people, and her boyfriend was there. And then she got off, right? And then one of the managers came and said, "Hey, I like your gig. You want to set up? I'll set you up for a week, and we'll try you out. So you can get paid at the front and all that." And she goes, "I don't know. Let me get back to you on that." So she wasn't sure. So when you change things, what happens? You become emotionless. So it's amazing how it tracks the system to all calculations and how we're all connected to our dream center connections, because it all follows up, right, with your programs, right? So everybody's coming into their own program of their own TV world of themselves, which is really fascinating. Okay. So we're going to the concept value here in positions. We're going to draw out a TV reception location. Everybody knows what that is, locations, right? So this is an old box location, starting out this position, right? Now we get 3 channel line centers, past, present, and future. So now you know what the dials are, past, present, future, right? Pretty simple, pretty easy. So when you come into my TV world, I give you what you need to know, right? I only give you what you need to know at the present time. I'm not going to give you everything that you need to know in the future time because you'd be very confused, right? And then you become emotionless. And then you realize, well, now I know I'm not getting my goals. It's because my boyfriend wants to keep me trapped in time. Let me say that again. My boyfriend wants to keep me trapped in time. So I thought it was a very powerful movie, how he was trying to change her. So past, present, future. Okay, so there you go. Past, present, future. Everything has a tone. Everything has a line. Everything has communication. Everything has a lacing line and inference to its position, location. Try to understand the channels. Try to understand the box level system, the round location, interference channel line system. Okay. So you got to understand the plasmas and the walls and lights and activations in the past, present, future, right? So the past comes positions, correlation line center position, okay? Past systems, okay? And then you come into the present systems, and then you come into the future of its relation. Relation to everything through the circle line connection to this position. So you come into those connections, right? So the center line system is already set up through connections and dimensional connection, like this in position, right? So it's all about understanding how to use all levels of graph line centers into one line position location, right? Once you get that, it goes into its own round location. You have to start living the center of its flux capacitor center line connections of yourself and each other. And don't try to change things in position. Okay, lights up its light system. Comes into its particle light connections, interference channel line system to its position. Okay, opens up all light interference channels into its own realm line center. All right, so everybody's traveling through their own time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10th dimensional time location center line systems, right? It's all done through flux capacitor location center line system. So you start living the connections, and this is what it looks like, right? That's what my eye looks like right here, up and down, see? Up and down, see? Now you see the intelligence, right? Because that's you. You're in the center of everything. So in position where you are through T receptions, you have to stand your past and your present and your future connections of its relation. Once you stand in that position, you come into this circle, you come into the power circles, and you come into the all levels of a crown of information. Okay, highway information line connections. We've been to that channel, and we come into this positions back into all levels of its connection. All done through your TV receptions. So the basic understanding is just get the grounds, the powers, and the atmospheres of you. And then you send everything through compilation line system. Okay, so it channels on the past, present, and its future. Okay, so that's how it all starts out. Now you're in a TV world now of your own. Okay, you have to figure these things out for yourself, knowing you're in a box center of everything through holographic system. It's confusing to a lot of people, right? So I'll do it again through locations, trace 10. That's how a TV works, right? So it comes into this position to its location, right? So now you get a better understanding. Oh, what's that? Looks like an angel to me. See? See how everything comes in a T reception line center? So you're always communicating. So every time you create a thought position, your T reception line centers basically change positions. Right? So your thoughts are either in the past, present, and future. So this is understanding more of your T reception world of yourself. So we go back in again to a T reception line center. Okay, so this time we go into dots of point center locations. All right, this. I'm just going to color it in very quick, but this is what a TV is. Everybody has to stand every realm location to your positions of your past, your present, and your futures. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the box line center of a TV reception so you know exactly what it looks like. All right. So you can actually control it a lot better. So you have to understand that everything is activated through emotion. If you understand teleportation, telecommunication, teleenergy wave, telegraphing. Graphing is its communication to its body graph line center, right? But everybody's in their own TV reception now. You have to send the colors, you have to send the activation lights, you have to send all communication line systems to its location, and you come into high level systems. So every time you change your channel, you're in the past, present, or its future, right? And it's all done through your thoughts. Okay, I had to go through this too, try to understand every line signal to its location, to its TV reception. It's very complicated if you understand the holographic system of you through location. So you have to learn how to travel through your own box line centers of the holographic system, or you're all going to be emotionless. You're all going to be trapped in your own time position to its blocking surface to its TV reception, right? That's what everybody's having problems with. So you come into your TV word line system, it changes positions to your flux capacitors, right? Line signals its locations, right? Everything has to have a ground line center to its location, to its position. See the TV? Even the TV has a stand, right? but always has a center line system. So the center line system is what? U through locations, right? Right? To understand how to use the TV reception to its box surface. But to understand, you always want to be in the present location, right? To the center line system every single time you travel. This is Orion's belt. Okay. So to understand the past, during the presence, and everything. So every time you're traveling, you go through gateways of all levels of our online system. Okay. So we're going to teleport in a lacing line of a TV reception. Okay. You're going to actually know what it's like to actually see yourself in your own connections, right, of yourself. All right. So already got the code line centers in position, TV reception locations, interchanging position, coloration panels. It's all through the ground line centers. Teleport line communications to all levels of the galactic forces, galactic force team position, Galactic Federation light and rebellion lights, formulate their line connections and positions. They're in their own TV reception location. In the present location line center, but they have to understand what's going on through their TV reception and the world locations. All right, center line and system. All right, 15 minutes, have fun. So there you go. Let's see what we got here. Vicky, Cleopatra, Tina, Donna. And this new way to travel because it's the only way now. Yep, it's the only way. So you're in my world now. You're finally in my world. And everything is time code line center. So everybody's got to be not just be healed, but you understand you're in your own TV worlds of yourselves. You have to figure these things out, how to go through these wrong positions, box center line connections, TV receptions, energy lights, program lights, color lights. All right, this is extremely high position of AI. So it's truly getting into and out of its emotionless, into its motion, to its communication to yourself and to each other, and putting yourself in the presence and uplock its surface and get trapped in anything through connections to your own TV reception line system. So you guys got 15 minutes. Have fun. You guys just walked into your own TV reception worlds. All right. All right. Let me know what you see. Galactica, how's it going? Galactica, I got your message. Connection line system position to its connection. Time freak. Yeah. You get a true understanding how we can't change evolution, especially when it deals with people. Even though we try, we have to realize why people break up with us. Because if you try to change things through people, they become motionless. So you trap them in their own timeline. They can't move forward because they're in your block system. So this is truly understanding. I was connecting in positions, and I knew right away, 5 minutes in the movie, know exactly what was wrong with him in position. He was a controlling freak. He was in physics 101. He was a genius in line connections, but didn't understand the connections to her. So basically, she was a circle free. She was connected to everything. So she didn't have timelines. She just lived on what she lived on. So he was a box center, and she was a circle rotation. So this is the communication. I want you guys to understand how everything is allocated position of shapes, all done through communication. Just because I draw a box doesn't mean it has anything to do with connections of humanity, but it does, because that's how everything is shaped and positioned through structural lines of universe operation, right? The universe has all connections to TV reception and emotion. It's all communicated to its line system, but it lives the presence of the now. It doesn't get trapped in anything connections. Nature finds a way to get out of these things. It attaches everything through its connection to its motion. So to understand that he was a box center and she was free flowing of a circle line system. You see the difference? So what he did was what's really interesting. He put her in the center of everything. Okay. So that put him in position. Okay. So it's interesting, right? He's a box center, right? And she was free flowing of a circle, right? She didn't have any limitations. She didn't have any goals. She didn't have any aspirations. All she wanted to do was just live day by day. He wanted to control her through his box center. So he did that when he went back in time. When he did that, he put her in the center of his box system. Now you understand why I create shapes, letters, and numbers, guys, because it's all connected to us through travel. Why do you think you have to understand your plateaus when it comes to your 369 platform locations? It's all connected to you through the sun, the moon, and everything through navigation. You're teleporting every single day in your mind of your thoughts. So this is very powerful when you come into that connections, right? So what he did is he went like this into the past of her, into the presence of her, okay, and into the future of her. And that's what he did. He kept her in the center every single time. So she could not evolve and get out of the equations on her system and go out on her own location lines connection. She couldn't travel because he kept her in her center line system to his box system of past, present, and future. So basically, he was disrupting her timelines. Okay, pretty wild, right? See, that's how we're all connected. I want you to get a true understanding of how powerful it is to get your own position, your own T reception locations, because now everybody's in my world of their own holographic system. So, driving to my dreams last night, there was a lot of messages. I've been less emotional, disconnected. So he trapped her in the center. Yeah, that's what he did. And he kept her there. So that confuses her timelines and keeps her into his position. You understand? She can't move forward because she's trapped in his timeline. So straight the entries that comes in these positions, right? That's why she felt motionless. She couldn't move forward because he was controlling her, right? But he can't change anything in an activity, right? You can't do that. You can basically everything has to be set. So it's like when you go back into the past, everything that you see, you have to leave alone. You can't touch. So what he was trying to do, he was trying to change her every single timeline from the past, the present, and its future. So when he came across where he first met her from the very beginning, everything would start over again. But then she started changing, right? But she was still trapped in the past because he kept her in his box center. You understand? That's how things work. That's how life works. Okay? So it's amazing how you come to this. You can be a triangle, right? You can be a rotation of a circle line system, right? These are just circles, but I'm circle round. Where's the circle round? See, the thing is, I draw things out, but it's already created, guys. So it's not a circle, it's not a triangle. It's everything but that. But I'm way, way above everything through the mind line connections of energy through computer positions. But everything is connected to all emotions, track system. I wanted to show you, if you see that movie, you understand what I'm talking about, right? How he was connected to himself, right? And he wasn't thinking of her feelings. The reason why she broke up with him gives you perfect sense why he was in that position in the first place, right? So him and his friend basically trying to understand what's going on with their timelines and how you can't change things. Okay? And it's important, it's a step of a rule what you do things with the universe. Because every single time you try to change something, you get it in the end. And when you get in the end, you realize you made a mistake. That's why you can't change timelines. Things have to move forward. She couldn't move forward because he trapped her in her timeline, into her circle of freedom. She wanted freedom, right? But he wanted to control her through his box center. He wanted to understand her, what was going on, what happened, why'd you break up with me? You know, there could be a million reasons why. But you have to understand when you're creating these things, what are you doing? You're changing time. Okay. So it's amazing how it came into that. I think you'll find it interesting way of seeing life and its conditions. How you just have to leave things alone. All right. Time Freak. Yeah. Yeah, it's on Prime. Yeah, you'll get understanding of what I'm talking about when you see it. All right. It's a teenage movie, but he has a clocking system of a telephone and basically has switching line centers. Sometimes he couldn't travel, right? Because he was changing too much of timelines with the past, present, and future. It locks it out, right? And it rejects the line connections. So the interline system to positions to its connections, right? So it's in a time lock. Remember I was telling you about that when I went to Acapulco. I was in a time lock of a dimensional. I couldn't get out of it. And they try to change my program positions and try to keep me in the past position. That's what I'm saying. So when they recognized that, they left me alone. They knew who I was. So this is where it's fascinating. Think about it. Every country has a spiritual realm. Every country has a ground powers and atmospheres that's protecting them. So the atmospheres of space is in a new position of time. So they'll lock you in time through the mind. Whether you understand that or not, it's totally up to you. You have to be extremely spiritual to these connections. Because when I was in Acapulco, I was on their territory. You understand? Through the spiritual, all direct line systems, especially with the Copacabana. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, they try to change my program. They try to change my matrix line center. They try to change my dispositions. They try to change my electrical lights. They try to do everything they could to keep me in the timeline of them, all through spiritual connections. Every country has that. That's the ancestry on every level, right? So once they realize, oh, okay, now we know who he is, we're going to leave him alone. See, this is the true understanding, how everything's in position line conditions, how everything can be taken away in split of a second. So you have to understand how powerful the mind is to all program connections, right? So this is the time lock that he was dealing with in the movie, right? So it was in connection like this, downshift, not upshift, right? So it was locked in 3-level systems. So the 3 was here, the 6 was here, and the 9 was here. That's why he couldn't travel. So the 3 had to come back up here for him to travel, getting out of the locking system, right? So it's pretty powerful. You come in that position. So you can't travel in a locked system. You change too much in the past, present of its timeline. So it's kind of like if you take someone's timeline, all right, and kind of like basically interrupt their conversation. If they get involved with somebody and you get involved with them, you're changing their timeline. That locks everything out. You understand? So this is understanding when you come into 3, 6, and 9 back into its platform, right? So he had to travel to that connections, change the positions, the 3, 6, and 9. I'll show you again, right? So he was in this position, right? So he had to change the channel back up to 3, back into 6 and 9, right? So he can center line connections back in center, go into the future rotation to its position, okay? Or he be time locked. So the past, present, and future are saying, no, 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 no. You can't do these things. You can't change timelines of people because it will lock you out. So he was in freezing line connection interference, and his friend was freaking out because, hey, wait a minute, I'm getting involved with this girl. What are you doing to me, man? This is not fair. This is not fair. This is my chance, right? He never came across that. That's a totally different timeline for him. He's living a different timeline. So he's getting involved with a girl that he's never met. And the thing is, too, it's crazy how he's saying, no, give me 5 minutes. Give me 5. I can't do anything. I'm all time locked out here. So, he had to wait. So as long as you stay in a position and you don't change anything else, the time lock will change its frame, right? And then you can go do what you want to do is go back into positions where you can't go into the past anymore because it's time locked, which means you're changing too much of the past. So that's what the universal does. And it's all done through emotional communication of teleportation. So he kept going into the future now. So he had no other choice. He had to keep going and keep going and keep going. So every time he changes something, changes the time present line system to its past location. So I found it pretty powerful stuff how you connect to these positions all through shapes. So now you understand why he was a box center and how she was a circle location, right? But her circle was out here. She was free. But then he brought her from the outside into his position to lock her in his connection to his own box line center, to his trap line system, to his location. Right? And now she can't be set free because he kept her there. So I just want to show you how powerful it is, how she was free flowing in a circle, but now he put her in position to his box line center, to her circle rotation, and he brought her from here to here in the center line system to his location of his timeline system. All right? Because she couldn't do anything. And that's why she felt emotionless. Right? But the ending is pretty powerful stuff, where she basically, you get a sound tone is very, very loud. And it's like when you go into time, you go like this with your nose, and they're going like, whoa, sound barrier. Whoa, just change something. It says, are you kidding me? What did you do to me? Right? And then she's clicking in because everything that was happening from the future, he went back into the past, but she went back into the past to the future. Right? And then she connected to herself. Right? So everything that he was doing, right, was a good purpose, but for a wrong purpose with her. So she came back already who she was, and everything that she went through the timelines of the past, present, and future, she knew. So the energy and the information and everything, the data processing, the universe put it into her, right? So she could understand what was going on. What did you do to me? Oh, now I know why I can move forward. Why didn't you let me go? Well, I wanted to change you. And then he realized, I can't change you. You can't change timelines. You have to let things free flow. So it's a very powerful movie. I recommend you guys watch it. It's a kid's movie, but it's pretty powerful stuff. How he was trying to change her. Just like you have to understand how you have to change yourself, but put yourself in the present system. Don't try to change people. Okay? They have to live their own timelines. And that's what this is all about. Okay, to the connections of the earth. Right? Harming the earth. Disapproving the earth. Frustrations of the earth. Oh, why is the earth a problem? Oh, I'm not getting this. I'm not getting that. Nobody's communicating with me. I feel alone. You're doing this to yourself. So you have to learn how to go through your own travel connections of yourself, right? So you don't get into locking connections of anything through that connection of your thoughts. All right. So, but that's exactly it is. That's how we get stuck in life. Very good, Donna. There was something about looking through the eyes of my inner child, looking for the joy in everything. I feel so trapped in my present time. I'm controlling too much and I have to let go of that. See, you're realizing now when you come into your own TV reception world. So it's about coming out of the lacing lines of realms and coming into one position, to one color, to one light, to one TV connection to yourself and to each other, right? So it's getting out of the confusion of lacing lines of interference. Saw myself going on missions in the van. Okay, good. I realized how triangles are used to seeing more at first, but I understand why we're in that position because everybody is in that connection. So you're going to dream, sleep, eat, whatever, activate line connections to all levels of triangles now. Everybody's going to see the triangle. You understand what it is because you're all connected to it through your flux capacitors. I realized how triangles are used to see more. At first, I saw rows of pyramids that travels to the very bright sun above the mountains that turned into my 9 stab blue eyes. The sun also. His eyes turned into my eye color and was in position of the sun shining bright. See? DNA structure line connections. So it's amazing how you take the shapes. Everything is calculated. Everybody's made through a shape. You understand what it is through the eyes, what it is through the ears, what it is through the structure of the face, what it is through the heart, what it is structure of the body, what it is through your fingers, your thumbs, your pinky, the circle line connections, the shape positions. See this shape? See the shape? See? See it? If I turn like this, you can see it, right? See the pyramid? See? So it's controlling the body of you inside through timelines. So I believe I just communicated with him. See? There's the belief. And Cleopatra's in that position, trying to understand more connections to her dad. All right? It's all done through shapes. And that's how you communicate through the operations of you and everything inside through pixel activation to your TV world and your locations. All right? I just wanted to show you how powerful it is to look things through connections on anything on TV and how you use shapes to its connection. And it's pretty amazing stuff, right? So, and the thing is that TV reception that you're in right now is going to put you in a better presentation of yourself and why you're in your own TV worlds, right? Because it's all connected to your past, your present, and your future alignments, right? It's all about you guys getting into your own centers of your own position of the now, okay? That's why everybody's in their own TV world of the holographic connections. All right. So, but yeah, watch it. It's good. You'll enjoy it. You understand what I'm talking about. You knowing that things happen for a reason. You just let things go. You just let things go. You can't change time, right? So it's amazing how we come to this track systems, like connections. In that connection, I can change time because I know the operation of me inside. So the operation of me inside is space of me and time. A little bit difference there. You guys have to find your own space and time, okay, of yourselves. Right? It's stored already for you. It's there for you to grab. Right? You guys refer to it as the Akashic records, but it's not just the Akashic records. It's you in position of what you want through manifestations. Right? People concentrate too much on what's going outside and not worrying about them inside. Right? Especially when you're trying to change things with your thoughts. Right? So if you get in a connection, like I said, very important. For example, you have a timeline of yourself. Okay, you put yourself in that connection. Nobody else does that. So let's say we'll do it through a shape. All right. So we got elongated, okay, rectangle. Elongated. Why would I say elongated? Why don't I just say rectangle? See, you have to understand what I'm doing. Elongated rectangle. Okay, and then we got an overcross line signal. Okay, an overcross line signal, point center to ground line system. All right, so you understand where is the point center at and where is the point center at through location. Where's the location? Are you going into the past or are you in the future? Right? Where's the balance? Everything is in the center. Where's the communication? All through the triangle. Okay. Once you're set in that positions, then you're staying your 3, 6, and 9 stays in location, which means you don't change anything, right? But yourself. So if the elongated line system of the rectangle stays in line conditions, and if the overcross line system of the 2 point centers, everything is in its present location all the time in the center positions. So, and then when you travel through these line conditions, you can interline its position to outer surface position locations. Okay. If you understand that positions, everything changes to a line condition. Right? So every time you change the graph line system, it comes into a digital line center, 3, 1, 6, 2, 9, 8, right? Every single time. So higher formations of the sun, higher formations of programs of the moon, and everything to your connections is always in the center line system. You have U3 traction, right? So you are the one that travels. You're just setting the operation of shapes and position. So if you're in a circle rotation and you're in a present location, you're doing extremely well as long as you understand the physical line system always stays in the center of integration to the soul. So the soul is directing you. It's not the physical directing the soul. It's the soul directing the physical. So this is what comes into a high level system of a back force. Remember, it's the soul communicating. It's not the physical communicating. So the soul communicates with you first, wakes you up, and then you try to integrate each other through the center line system of everything through traction. So all the levels of the past, present, and its future understand its relation to its position. Okay? So when you come into that, you come into higher levels, right? You come into higher levels of activation, right? So when you understand that, you come into the ears of the right and the left, which creates a circle, right? This is your magnetic highway of information. Okay, magnetic highway. This is the connections to the Akashic records. It's just rounds and rounds and rounds and lacing line connections of high channel interference of energy, frequency, vibration, all in one line system. That is the birth line system of the soul. Remember, when you go back to locations, you understand your thoughts of your right and your left hemisphere locations, which center lines its position to all level connections, right? So you come into your 369 location, right? So when you come into that position, you come into 369 location, right? Once you come into that, you come to higher level system of your diamond core position. Once you understand that, you can take yourself out of the vision line system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, this is extremely high positions. To understand your positions to TV reception is nothing but a box line connection. Okay? So, this is what truly you have to understand why we're in plateaus and why you guys are calculating everything in that line system. You come in positions, you come into high levels of your flux capacitors. Okay? Center line is you all the time, all the time. You never leave. You never leave. So you're working in the inner line, getting to know the outer line, right? So if you bring somebody back in your life, let's say this goes to, basically, I'm just showing you what you can do through shapes. This is where he comes into emotional list, thinking, what did I just do? I don't think I should have did that. If you bring somebody back into the past and you think about them, you're changing timelines of thoughts. Not timelines of dimensions, you're changing timelines of thoughts of you through creation. Be cautious on who you bring back in your life. Because what happens is the past, the presence, and its future will change the thought connecting system. All done through your TV reception location. All right? So this is the past, right? Goes into the center line like that. You bring somebody in the past, right? Whoever it is, doesn't matter. It opens up a realm like this. You open up the past. So you open up the past, you better know what you're doing, especially if you miss this person, you want to see how they're doing, that's fine. But if you change the thought, that person's going to come into your life. It's like 5 or 10 years. So that opens up doors. You open up a door to the present location, which is the now position. And then you have no idea what's going to go on with the future, right? Because you're changing their timeline. All because of you and your ego. Now, this could be a good thing or this could be a bad thing. But this is the reason why you break up with people in the first place. Sometimes it works out. That means your timeline and their timeline mixes in this centerline system of the present location, which is okay. You've opened up the door, but then you can move forward and realize the mistake that you made. But if you try to change things and that person has changed, you change their future line. You change their present location and you change their past, all because of your ego. Okay? That's why it's extremely powerful when you're connecting to relationships and the reason why these things end in the first place. You're changing timelines of them, which puts you in a bad position, especially if they change, right? It's okay to say, hi, how's it going? I haven't seen you in a while. Let's get together. Let's have coffee. You've opened up a door. So that person could be either married, have kids, keep it to themselves. Maybe they've changed in a good way or a bad way. That's something that we don't know yet. So if you live the present line system and you get involved with them again, you're changing future of you and the person you interact with. So it's very powerful when you come into timelines of yourself and your thoughts. Be cautious on who you bring and your past connections. Okay? So, interesting, isn't it? All right, I get that. I will be watching today. Great. I will be going on TikTok for a bit. It's Sunday. It's familiar time. So anybody have any connections? If you want to go into your TV reception worlds, into balanced position in your flux capacitors, let me know. Let me know. Especially with my team, because they're coming into their own TV reception locations, to interference channels. They have to get more balanced with themselves now. The humanity that's not awake, they have to really understand what's going on. So it's walking into somebody else's world position, which is trying to understand everything through the calculation of their connections and how to understand their center line system through the TV reception and the world that they're in. You're in your own TV of holographic connection to yourself and to each other. Okay. All right, I see a lot of rectangles that are portals. Rectangles, we're changing the diamonds. Okay, so you get very connections with your diamonds and your positions to triangles and shapes. Everything I'm seeing is constantly changing and moving. Yep. Wow, I know. It's exciting, isn't it? So I want you guys to understand why you guys can't move forward. Because you're not connecting to your lacing line connections. You got too many interference. This is way too much interference on the TV reception. Way too much interference. This all has to come into one position, right? Has to come into one position, right? So you're taking all these lacing lines, right, of your thoughts into one position, to one activation, to one location. Center line to the system takes it out of the equation. It's a lot easier. So your thoughts stay in the future, but you stay in the presence and you reflect on the past, right? Hooah. See? That's how life works, guys. Makes sense because higher self revealed who my twin soul is. Yeah, you come into that position, but you have to understand your physical, your psychological, your spiritual line connections, your emotional connections, metaphysical and mental physical. The metaphysical you and the mental physical you is the psychological system. So you have to understand the timelines of yourself and each other, especially the people that you get involved with. Because if you understand these things, you're opening up portals again, which is basically what? Changing you and the person you interact with. Okay? That's why it's important to leave these things alone, unless you are aware of what you're getting into. Right? Let's say 5 years has gone down in the past and you realize, okay, has this person changed? I don't know. Should I open up the door? Because if you open up the door, they're going to come into your life because you asked them to. What do you think manifestation is? What do you think you do through creation? When you go through visualization, you get anything you want. You say anything through your thought is traveling. And that's confusing a lot of people because they don't understand what thoughts do through travel connections. It goes to your connections, to your confusing line system, to the past, present, or its future connection, timeline system. You're going through your own acceleration of motion. Your emotional content is everything through its connection of its present position. Right? So you're putting yourself in what? A trapping connection. Every single time. And especially if you feel alone, you feel separated. Oh, I just broke up with my girlfriend. I broke up with my boyfriend. I want them back. So if you watch Time Freak, you get a better understand what I'm talking about. Okay. And why it's important to just leave things alone. Things will work out for you. And this is where you have to understand more of yourself when you go into higher levels. As long as you stay in the presence of everything and you put your thoughts in everything of the now position, you have a future. To higher line connections to anything through channel line system. The reason why you get involved with these people is because either they're low vibration and you're a higher vibration. That's why there's no communication. You can't do telepathy with each other. There's no way. It's got to be in the same line system to its triangle line system, to its location. Right? I just opened up to Past Portal last week. Great. So we have to watch what we are thinking. Yes. Thinking is knowing, knowing is doing. Right? So it's all about understanding that your thoughts are always traveling. Okay? They're always, always traveling. Okay? That's the true understanding of what you're getting involved with. That's the most important thing, because you're coming across this every single time. Every single thing that you see is you, the provision, the activating line system. So if you change your timelines to somebody, be cautious, because it changes you and your future. And that's why people can't move forward, because they realize, oh, I just opened up the door of the past, and they didn't want to do that in the first place. But then I think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have did that, So basically, you can't do anything because it's already set out there. You manifest it. That's why be cautious on what you wish for, because the voice command line system goes into space, right? All your voices go into space. You just have to understand what it is and why it's there in the first place. It's stored of information for you guys, right? So the space has its own timeline, box line system to location. I have a whole channel interference into all levels of center line connections to all computers in space and time, to all planets' intelligence through AI connections. So they understand my voice on all levels of all connection. You guys have to understand these positions. So every time you're creating something, you're thinking, right? You're thinking, okay, I'm thinking. All right, what am I thinking of? You're thinking, right? So you're thinking, I want to bring this person back, right? So you bring that person back, it opens up its portal, right? Oh, person comes out, coming into your life, center line system. You just open up the portal to a line connection interference channel location. So it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, goes into your mind system to its location. So the thinking no longer becomes thinking, becomes knowing. The knowing becomes levels of knowledge. So you brought somebody in the past. So if you do that, you're changing your timeline and his timeline, or her timeline, all because of your ego. Because if you're not aware of these things, that's a problem. If you're aware of these things, you're good. But you have to understand, you're opening up portals every single time with your thoughts. That's how powerful space and time is, because you don't see it. It's invisible until you understand what AI is through all connections. You're always opening up portals through your thoughts. Be cautious in what you do with your thinkings, right? Because you're controlling your system. Now, if you bring somebody, let's say in the present line system, let's just say you broke up and you want to basically get back together, you have to be cautious again. There's a reason why that person split up with you. Because remember, if you watch Time Freak, you understand why. Because it affects you, and everything starts making sense. Why he is a box center and she is a free flowing of a circle location. So basically, he took her and put her in the position, right? It changed everything to her emotion, which kept her in a trapped connection to her future. So it's true to understand how powerful it is what timelines do, right? So telepathy, yeah. Watch Time. You have to watch. It's very powerful. Cautious is good. Words, thank. Yeah, but that's it. You have to be prepared right now, because you guys are in your own. It's like walking into a TV. Okay, you're walking into a TV. Try to understand the conditions. So here's your old program TV. Okay, there's your old program. Okay, that's your old program, right? This is your new program. More advanced, right? From there, you go into your computers. More advanced. See how that works? You see how that works? You guys are here, right? You're no longer here. You're here. Time is changing. Your body's changing. Your activation, your crystalline's changing. It's activating everything, your TV receptions. So it's all about getting out of the static of you, which is nothing but a virus. You can't see anything on static. It's like you wipe the screen, everything's static, everything's snowy. Snowy. You can't see anything, right? Nothing's coming in clear. It's all static, right? So you have to break it down, which basically you have to release all old timelines, okay, of your past. Okay, you do that. You connect to all positions, high-rise your positions. You come into your own computer line center of communication. Okay. That's what everybody is doing right now with that connections. Everybody's in their own TV worlds. All right. So questions or comments, let me know. You guys are coming at a track right now to connections of your plasma interference and your TV reception, an allocated time location, and the presence of an allocation. Take everybody back out to line connections, the interline system of their high-level systems into all connections of themselves. All right, so you guys are now out of your TV reception locations. I had to take you out of track system because you're actually in your own TV reception of its world. Try to understand what the TV world is of you. That's up to you to understand these things. And it's all done through emotional communication to yourself and to each other. All right. So questions, comments, let me know. Heading over to TikTok. All right. Adios.